Hi, my name is Robert Attrell, and I am a Program Officer with the Discovery Grants Program at NSERC. This presentation will include important information relevant to completing the NOI stage of the Discovery Grants application on the Research Portal. In this demonstration, we will present the Research Portal, how it works, and some key strategic recommendations. First, you need a user ID and password. The user ID should be your primary email address, which must be the same as the address you used to create an account for your CCV. If you have forgotten your password, do not create a new account. Use the Forgot My Password function, and an email will be sent to you with new login information. This is also why it's important to create security questions when you create an account. A reminder when creating an account that the name and email must be the same as the CCV. Otherwise, you won't be able to upload your CCV to your application, and it will create a duplicate in the portal. If you already have a portal account but can't remember which email you used, please do not create a new account. Contact NSERC instead, and we will help you retrieve your information. The email contact is webapp@nserc-crsng.gc.ca. If you do not have an account, click Create Account. Enter the same email you used to create your account for the CCV in order to link both accounts. Create a password and click Create an Account. An email will be sent to you to validate your account and get access after creating a user profile. You will need to log in to finalize the process. Once you have an account and are logged in, you can go to the user profile page, top left, and enter your personal information. Once your profile is set up, you can change your password, change your security questions, or return to the home page. Please ensure that the correspondence language is correct. Whenever you make changes on any pages in the Research Portal modules, remember to click Save, located bottom right. Below the personal information is the privacy notice, an explanation of why we now collect self-identification information, and the self-identification questions, which are now a mandatory part of the NOI. All questions come with the option, I prefer not to answer. Once that is complete, save your entries and then go back to the welcome page. This is where you can start creating an application. There is a list of applications for which you can select Create. This is also where the deadline dates are indicated. You may have internal deadlines within your institution. Please check with your institution's Research Grants Office. Click on Create Application and select Create from the list of programs for which you are applying. The system is programmed to allow only one application created per program. Once you have started to enter your information for DG-NOI, you will no longer see that option on the main page. This is because you cannot complete two applications. Now, if we go back to the main page, you will see DG-NOI is no longer an option, but it will appear in the list below, and you can open or edit it as required. You will notice the information displayed indicates the last date you edited this application and the status of the application, in progress in this case. Click Open, and we will now go into the specifics of the information required for the Research Portal when applying to the DG program at the NOI stage. On the Application Overview page, you will find a countdown until the submission date. Yellow triangles indicate a module has not yet been completed. In order to submit your application, all modules must be complete. You will not be able to submit your application if there is incomplete information. We'll start by focusing on the specific modules of the NOI information for the DG program. If you select Module Status, each section must be completed or have a green checkmark. You will see the 5 sections to complete under Module Status: Identification, Summary of Proposal, Reviewer Exclusion, Activity Details, and External Reviewer Suggestions. You must go in and complete and then save and validate each section before you are able to submit, even the reviewer exclusion section, whether or not you identify anyone to exclude. Let me describe the different modules seen on the screen. For navigation purposes, you will find on the top right of the window a table of contents with all the sections to be completed. This is an easy way to navigate between modules in the portal. First, the identification module. This information is generated from the user profile information. You should always double check that the information in this module is accurate and up to date. You will also be required to enter information about the organization that will be administering your grant, the application title and language of your application, and the suggested evaluation group. Check if the application title corresponds to the title of your proposal. As you prepare your NOI, save often. The Save and Validate button at the bottom of the page can sometimes help if a field appears to be frozen. Next is the Activity Details module. Here you can enter up to 5 research topics. A reminder that the first topic is the most important, as it plays a large role in which EG your application is assigned to. First, you will select the EG, and then that will populate the second drop-down menu with the related research topics. We encourage you to enter 5 research topics in priority order. You have the option to clear selection, which will remove a previously selected research topic, and you can then re-enter as required. It is acceptable to have research topics from different EGs. Within this module, you will also need to enter up to 10 keywords that best describe this proposal. It is important to always save and validate. Up next is the Summary of Proposal module. You must write the summary of your proposal with a character limit of 6,000 characters, which includes spaces and hard returns. Should your proposed research program change substantially from the time you submit your NOI to the time you submit your application, please contact the program officer responsible for the evaluation group you have selected. As a note, within the research portal, the shortcut Ctrl-V to paste does not work. Please instead use the icon within the clipboard. When you hover on the icon, it will show the Paste Plain Text option. You can copy your text with Ctrl-C and then click on the clipboard icon. A dialog box will then pop up, and you can press Allow. Up next is the External Reviewer Selection module. You need to list 5 external reviewers that can provide an independent assessment and who are not in a conflict of interest with you. You are required to enter the first and last names of the suggested external reviewers. You will also need to enter their email address, expertise, and primary affiliation information. In order to enter the organization, you must first click Edit to access the Select Country field. Using the drop-down menu choice, start first by entering the country, then province or state, and finally select the organization. This will then populate the organization field properly. Click Add and then Save. Please use the legal name of your institution, such as the University of British Columbia. If you are unable to find your institution name, please contact NSERC at the resgrant at nserc-crsng.gc.ca email address for support. Finally, we have the Reviewer Exclusion module. You may request that some researchers, organizations, or large collaborations not be involved in the review of your application. This information is entered the same way as the previous task, that being the external reviewer selection. This list is not shared with reviewers, only NSERC staff can see it, and you can include anyone that you would like to exclude from your application, including committee members. If you find a conflict when consulting the new membership for your selected evaluation group on NSERC's website, please advise the responsible program officer of your evaluation group or send an email to the ResGrant mailbox. In the event that you have no exclusion to include, simply click the Save and Validate button to obtain the green checkmark and complete this module. Once you have completed these modules, it's time to upload the Canadian Common CV or CCV. It is through the CCV web-based application or platform that we will show you how to complete and validate your CCV. This information will be provided in a separate video. In this video, we will show you how to attach and upload your completed and validated CCV to the research portal. In the application overview page at the bottom, click Attach. The CCV must be attached to your NOI on the research portal in order to have a completed application to be submitted to NSERC. The blank field under Confirmation Number is where you will enter your validated CCV confirmation number generated by the CCV platform. Enter that number, usually 6 digits, and click Upload. The page will refresh and you will see the message, Your CCV has been uploaded, and you will see the name of the file below that. You can click the hyperlink to view the version that was uploaded. You should view the file to ensure that the correct version was uploaded. You also have the option to delete the file and re-upload another. This can be done at any time before submitting the application through the research portal. In terms of navigation, you will always have the option to go back to the application overview, which will bring you back to your application homepage. We are now back to the application overview page, and we can see that all modules are completed and the CCV is attached to the NOI. The green check marks indicate that the NOI is complete. There are no yellow triangles, and so the NOI is ready to be submitted. Now for a few tips. Once all of the modules are complete, we strongly suggest viewing your NOI and CCV before submitting. Once these are submitted, you cannot make changes, and NSERC does not return NOIs for updates after they have been submitted. In this application overview window, you will find a button on the bottom right-hand side indicating Export Application to PDF. We recommend you export your NOI to PDF and save it for your records for reference. The portal is not an archive or repository. When your NOI is complete and ready for submission, the Submit button will appear. Click Submit. To check if your NOI was indeed submitted, you simply need to go back to the Welcome page. Click the Home hyperlink found underneath Profile in the blue ribbon at the top of this window. The status of Received by Agency confirms that your submission was successful. Your Research Grants Office will not see your submitted NOI, as their approval is not required at this point of the application process. You will not receive a confirmation email indicating that your NOI was submitted and received by NSERC. Please note that only at the full application stage is the approval of your research grants office at your university required, and a confirmation email from NSERC will be sent indicating that your application was received at that stage. Here are a few common questions about the research portal. First, can I change my research direction between the NOI and full application stage? Applicants can change the title of their research as long as the proposed research outlined in the NOI is still relevant with respect to the external reviewer suggestions and EG member assignments. If the research direction is drastically changing, you need to inform NSERC as this may impact the members reviewing your application. Can I update my CCV before I submit a full application? Yes, you must attach a new copy of your CCV to the full application. That's it for this walkthrough of the NOI stage of the Discovery Grants Research Portal. Thanks very much for watching.